All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from everywhere you're joining us. Thank you so much for joining, and we are so sorry for the delay. We've been experiencing serious technical issues, and we are really sorry about that. So we are here now, and thank you for joining. We are starting this webinar, which is starting your career in cybersecurity. And this webinar is not just for people who are about to start cybersecurity, but also for people who already have the knowledge of cybersecurity, but they are yet to start their career. That is what this webinar is meant for, right? And that's what we're going to be doing today. So today we have two cybersecurity experts who will be talking to us on cybersecurity SOC, cybersecurity pen testing, and also cybersecurity GRC. So I'm going to be introducing Mr. Folorenshaw Ade, and Mr. David Akonde. They will be the one to tell us about today's webinar, and to take us in this journey, and to explain all that we need to know about this wonderful subject. So I'm going to hand over to Mr. David now while he takes us through the program. Thank you.
Hello,
Yeah,
hello,
yes, sir.
David.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I think would you allow me just start from here? I think I'm okay. Just that my camera may not be on, so I can
Okay,
move
let me
over to.
go to the first slide.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you can start, sir.
Okay, thank you. Uh, Good afternoon, everyone. And if you're on the PM side of the clock, and you're from the AM, if you're on the AM side of the clock, it's splendid morning to you. My name is Ade Folorunsho, but I'm fondly called Funsho. I'm a cybersecurity expert alongside my colleague here, Mr. David Akonde. I'm sorry you might not be able to see my face. Please bear with me. Um, so, once again, welcome on board. The webinar is particularly about career paths in cybersecurity, and is actually an orientation on three different career training in cybersecurity. David, please. So, as you can see on the title slide, it is building a career in cybersecurity, specializing in routes of cybersecurity governance, particularly GRC, or staying within the walls of the Security Operations Center, mastering the skills of security operations and defense, which primarily is defensive cybersecurity, and the last is penetration testing and ethical hacking, which puts you in the red team and makes you an attacker. So let's get into the orientation. Thank you, David. What's best for you? Let me quickly say this. Okay, thank you. Let David put it there. You can see here that cybersecurity is not one job. It is an ecosystem of roles. Some people manage risk, like the GRC experts. Some defense systems, like the security operations and defense experts. The people we call the blue team, and some break them ethically, those whom we call the red team. Today, we will show you how to choose your path. So, David, like, can you move to the next slide? Thank you. The objective is to help you understand the major career path that within the ecosystem of cybersecurity. Please, I need to say this quickly, that the days of learning cybersecurity generally are come and gone. Before now, you could enroll for a course in cybersecurity without mastery in any area of specialization, but no longer so. Currently, cybersecurity has become an oak tree with so many branches. So, and you agree with me, if you are used to climbing a tree, you can't see on all the branches of a tree at the same time. You might start with climbing the stem, but once you get into the tree itself, where the leaves are, you cannot be on all the branches at the same time. That is how cybersecurity is now. You can't be a master of all of the arms of cybersecurity. More so, we have basically the red team and the blue team, which I'll be talking about in a moment. Secondly, the second objective is to ensure that you know the difference between cybersecurity general GROC, which stands for Governance, Risk, and Compliance, and cybersecurity mastery for Security Operations Center and pen testing. These are the three programs we are currently offering at, cybersecurity training programs we're currently offering at Eels and Tech. Others will be coming up later on, but this webinar centers around these three areas of mastery for the opting time, cybersecurity GRC, defensive security within the walls of Security Operations Center, and offensive security in the light of penetration testing and ethical hacking. Another objective will be to identify which part suits your background. You might be thinking of offensive, whereas your background is suited for defensive. You might be thinking of defensive, whereas your background is suited or suitable for GRC. You might be thinking of GRC, whereas pen testing is good for you. So we're going to expose you to the three, bring the three closer to you so your decision can be informed. Also note that across these three, you might want to go further beyond one. Of course, is allowed. Don't worry, I'm going to juxtapose this route with other routes in the world of tech, like software development and the world of hardware. Then you're also going to learn what skills and tools are required to gain mastery in each of these career paths that we are bringing to you. Then you'll be able to understand job roles and career prospects. What we mean by job roles is what job role exactly in cybersecurity are you being prepped for? I need to say this also by emphasis that you do not qualify as a cybersecurity expert for every job role. Please keep that in mind. Do not think because you've mastered cybersecurity as an analyst or specialist, you can now apply for any job that has security in its title. No, you don't qualify for every job. So this journey would enlighten you about job roles that you are best suited for, whether as a GRC analyst or as a security operations specialist or as a pen tester or an ethical hacker. Why cybersecurity? Of course, it's no longer new that there is so much awareness and global need for cybersecurity experts due to ever increasing cyber attacks. As I talk to you now, there is a cyber attack going on an installation now as I'm talking to you. It means round the clock, every second, round the clock, 247, there is a cyber attack. Whether the attack will be successful or not is a different ball game. But there is a cyber attack ongoing in a particular infrastructure, be it on-prem or in the cloud, or even on that in their personal device, like your phone, your laptop that you just connected to the internet. There is a cyber attack. And I want to say this clearly that a lot of people personal devices have actually been compromised unknown to them. Some persons' phones, tabs, laptops are actually zombies. Don't worry, when you come into cybersecurity class, you understand what we mean by zombies. Some devices are already zombies working for man in the middle attack or working for distributed denial of service attack or attackers who launch those kind of attacks or even those who are into crypt analysis attack. So a lot of devices have been compromised and are being used by attackers for their personal gain. So your device just might be one of them, but you do not know. Why wouldn't you want to enroll for our program so that we can expose you to the tools and skill sets to identify whether your device or to ascertain whether your device is actually a victim or not. Why cybersecurity also? Number two is data breach. the number is endless. Ransomware attack, insider threats, these are causa factors for the need to master cybersecurity and much more. Then regulatory pressure in highly regulated climes like uh, North America, Europe, and UK, particularly, there are emerging laws and standards necessitating security consciousness and implementation. Some are tilted towards privacy, like the GDPR. Some are tilted towards security operations. Some are tilted towards security systems like the ISO 27001. Some are tilted towards cyber security risk like NIST, CSF. So some are tilted towards business resilience, such as DORA, the latest cyber security act in the EU that was released sometimes about a year ago, if I'm not, yes, early last year. So there are different laws in different climes and regions, countries all over the world, with peculiar cybersecurity laws. And whenever and wherever there is a law, compliance becomes a necessity. So, in order to comply with cybersecurity laws, standards, and regulations, the need to engage cybersecurity experts also becomes a necessity, so that the institution, upon a cybersecurity audit, would not be found non-compliance, and that will incur some penalties. Like in the case of GDPR, the penalties are as weighty as 20 million euros for non-compliance, for violation, or 4% of your organization's gross earning, whichever is bigger. And no institution wants to let go as much as 20 million euros for just non-compliance with a given law. Okay, high demand for the skills and shortage of the skills on a global scale. We have a terrible shortage for cybersecurity. The cybersecurity skills are largely on the low, and the one of the reasons is because of the technicality, the skill sets to become a cybersecurity expert. Please note that not everyone who actually come into tech for training or mastery end up either finishing or practicing. But one to believe yours will be a different case, because we can assure you that training with H&T, you are not only going to be prepped, but at the same time, you are also going to be guided and guarded on how to apply for a job and secure one. Lastly, attractive salaries and career growth. Some of the reasons why we encourage a career path in cybersecurity. Thank you, David. So let's start with our first amongst the three programs we currently have in cybersecurity. The first is called Cybersecurity Governance, Risk, and Compliance. Analysts in this route, or specialists in these routes, are called, David, just please go back the slide before this. Thank you. Are actually called the strategists. The GRC analysts, cybersecurity GRC analysts, are the strategic thinkers or the strategists of the organization. I'll say this because GRC uses a top-down approach in its cybersecurity implementation, implementation and management. So that is why they are strategists. Okay, so building the shield. Please, one more, David, just a few seconds more on that slide. I will soon move out of there. You fall within the blue team of. Okay, let me start quickly. A cybersecurity structure is divided into two, basically two. Main personnel in cybersecurity are actually basically two: the blue teams and the red team. Though there is a third team that is a fusion or a hybrid of these two teams called the purple team. He's still in his novel stage. It hasn't gained wide popularization or popularity and application. But for now, cybersecurity experts are either blue team or blue team members or the red team members. So please, let's get to know that from now. So if you are on the offensive, if you love it technical, intrusive, attacking, you know what I'm talking about, hacking, you fall within the red team. But if you love it on the defensive, providing necessary guards, safeguards, protecting the network, infrastructure, and so on and so forth, you are on the blue team. So both David and I, David is a red team expert. I am of the blue team. So you can be rest assured that you are going to gain mastery, very good mastery within any team you choose to belong. So David, thank you. Let's move to the next slide. So the program overview is for this training is gaining understanding what GRC means. Please note that the knowledge of GRC or the concepts exceeds these three-letter words. A lot of people actually know or may are quite familiar with the word GRC because it is not a cyber security only concept. No, GRC is the brainchild of an organization called the Open Compliance and Ethics Group. It became known as GRC in 2007 with the first framework called the Red Book version 1. Currently, the current version is version 3.5. So if you come in for GRC mastery, you can be rest assured that a copy of that framework would be given to you. But those who came up with that concept, these skill sets, did not limit it to cybersecurity, nor to finance or legal or any of the other assurance-based function of an organization. No, but as the scope of this concept expanded, it was now tailored or adapted into different functions within an organization. In other words, we have the finance GRC, we have the legal GRC, just as we have the cybersecurity GRC. GRC has also been captured into project management. So we have GRC tailored to different functions, primarily assurance based functions within an institution. But then the bottom line around GRC is that the principles and practices of GRC remain the same, except that if you're mastering GRC within cybersecurity, the terminology would be largely security related. If you're mastering GRC within finance, the terminology, the language there will be largely finance. The same thing too for legal and the other functions where GRC is tailored to. Please note that this training is gaining the mastery of GRC within the fold of cyber security. Why is it important? Like we saw on the slide preceding this, you are the strategist of the organization. You are the one drafting policies, procedures for cybersecurity. You're the one identifying security related standards, frameworks, models, laws, regulations. You're the one developing a blueprint, operational guideline, playbook for and run book for the implementation of these standards. So you can see you provide guidance. Do you get it? From a governance standpoint. So from the risk management standpoint, you are also going to be gaining and learning the mastery of performing risk assessments, cyber security risk assessments. But I need you to quickly know this, that what you will master from this training in the light of security, GRC security, is not only applicable to cybersecurity. The principles and practices you can also extend into other functions. And the job prospects for GRC, cybersecurity GRC analysts and specialists is so enormous. in whatever parts of the world you are. We will guide you on how to narrow down your search to cybersecurity GRC job roles, and how to um, uh, uh, identify or ascertain if you are suitable for that particular vacancy. So it's not just I mean, it's not just you applying for that job and not being invited, or you are invited but you're unable to scale through the interview. No, you will know before you apply if you are suitable for that job. You will know. You'll be able to determine. We will train you. It's part of the H&T effect. So the GRC core modules, primarily governance, risk, compliance, are the primary modules in this training, but that's not all there is. Other key concepts in GRC today includes one, audit. You might say, well, why audit is not in GRC, it's not part of the letters. It is true. It is no longer restricted to the three. There are other concepts too that are assurance based, like audits, like control. Even a bit of data privacy is also part of the training, part of the module. So there's a whole lot to take home at the end of this training. Then useful tools in GRC, you're going to lay hands, because you're going to work with tools that are governance related, risk related, compliance related. Very popular tool is OneTrust. We have a ServiceCom. We have a whole lot of tools. Some are very popular, some are not so popular. But then they all have features that can help you perform, or that can help you digitally operationalize your responsibilities in GRC. And then you're going to gain a lot of mastery, skill sets, then job roles that, like I said earlier, we're going to help you identify job roles that you are best suitable for. So you're not just going to be applying for any GRC job that you find out there. You'll be able to determine if which your current skill set is suitable for. And we should know that career paths are never one off. Let me rephrase that. Skill acquisition in career path are never one off. For instance, a software engineer wouldn't tell me that the first training he had in software development was all he had. I won't take that. I won't believe that. Neither will I come out to tell you that my first skill acquisition in cybersecurity is what I'm still using to date. That wouldn't be fair. That wouldn't be true. So, as you intend to grow on the job, the need for additional skill sets it becomes a necessity. Some in the light of certification, some in the light of just certificates. You know, the difference between certification and certificate courses is that certifications, you have title to your name. There's an appendage to your name. And for instance, Ade Folorunsho, CISA, David Akonde, CISSP. That's what we call certification. But for certificates, you simply earn a certificate of completion, a certificate of competence, which do not have an appendage to your name. But truly, if you want to grow in your career path, you need to follow the industry standard and the industry requirements. You need to meet it in the light of skill sets and certification. Both will give you the edge. So, who should choose GRC? Primarily, you love tech, right? Good. You love cybersecurity, good. But I studied law. I read accounting or finance. Mine is project management. Or I'm a medical doctor. I'm a medical scientist. I don't want technical, or I studied education. I'm not good at technical education, mastering. They said tech is too technical, and I love tech, but I don't want to go the route of technicalities. Oh, you want it soft core, not hardcore. Please note, in tech, we have the soft core skills and we have the hardcore skills. So if you want it the soft core, not the hardcore, then GRC is good for you. Now, what this means is that you are not developing tools to carry out GRC functions. Rather, you are using existing tools, to operationalize your duties. Do you get it? So you are still within the world of tech, within the sphere of cybersecurity, but you are not developing your tools. Do you get it? Unlike the offensive experts, the red team, who would master some programming skills, depending on the level of mastery or training or job requirements, would need to master some programming skills, particularly Python, C++, and some other programming tools to be able to develop their own offensive tools. So not all cyber attack tools are actually on the shelf or ready made. There are some you would need to develop yourself. So if you're not the type who would want to be stressed up with mastering one programming language and having to develop your own tool yourself, then come the route of GRC. And lastly, if you don't want to leave your current domain, for instance, you are a lawyer or you are a finance specialist, you are a medical doctor, you are a nurse, you don't want to leave that field, you still enjoy it, but you just feel like I want to have a digital life. GRC is best for you. I can assure you. There is governance in every field of study. There is risk in every field of study, or the need for risk management in every field of study. And then a lot of fields of study now have laws and regulations regulating their practices. So there's need to measure compliance or to institute programs that will ensure that you are complying. So if you really do not want to leave your field of study, but you want to gain mastery in technology, particularly in the world of cybersecurity, GRC is suitable and best for you. So I will entertain questions. David and I will entertain questions at the end of this presentation, so we will dot more I's and cross more T's. Thank you. So let's move on. Okay, now moving straight into the next program, which is security operations and defense, but we call it SecOps. Uh, Before now, this program used to be called SOC. Now, SOC is not meant to be a program. No, it's not. SOC is a place. So why would the name of a place also equals the name of a program? But that is how it's been over the years. You hear people say, or you see trading adverts, a publicity show the name SOC 1 or SOC T1, SOC T2, and the likes. But today, because of the integration of operations into core functions in tech, for instance, I want to believe you may have heard the word DevOps. If you have not, okay, it's the new model in software development that brings operations into the development cycle. Typically, a development model in software is SDLC, maybe some other agile approach, which is the opposite of the traditional SDLC. But then the need to bring in operations personnel or to integrate operations requirements into software development became a necessity. So the name transformed from just being software development to now become DevOps, development and operations. The same model has now extended into other aspects of tech like security. So what is used to be called security operations center as a training program is now what is called SecOps, security operations. It means you are mastering security alongside tech operations. Okay. Net Before you heard someone say, I'm studying networking or network engineering, but now it's now called NetOps. So we have AI ops, ML ops. There are so many ops out there. That's the new model in the world of tech, most especially in knowledge mastery, gaining the skill. So in this light, I'll be using the word SecOps. So, but please, it's the same thing as SOC training. So if you tell someone outside, I'm studying SecOps, I'm going through a training in SecOps, if the individual doesn't understand, you might say, oh, do you understand SOC? So it's the same thing, just that the title now is called it's called SecOps rather than SOC. But then the bottom line is that you are going to acquire the mastery to defend infrastructure like network, like cloud infrastructure, virtual infrastructure, on-prem infrastructure. You're going to gain the mastery. Please note that this training is not for offenders, is for defenders. Please note that the way, I mean, if you're on the defensive, you are called DevSec, def- uh, defensive security. If you're on the offensive, like the hackers and the pen testers, sorry, ethical hackers and pen testers, you are called OffSec, offensive security. So you're on the OffSec. The man mastering security operations SecOps is on the DevSec, otherwise called the blue team, and the OffSec, the red team. So look at this. You are the defender. You are the one manning the walls. You are the eyes to see areas of vulnerability and attacks, and to hear within the digital walls of the institution. You got the eyes to see, the digital eyes to see. You got the digital ears to hear security concerns within the digital system of the enterprise. David, let's move on. Thank you. Okay, what exactly is SOC? Like I did say a moment ago, is a place. Security Operations Center is a place where security activities, cyber security administration is performed. Okay, today's digital space, when I mean digital space within an organization's enclosure, has become so large that, unlike back in the days when tech was seen as a function, that is, oh, that's the tech department, or it works at the tech arm. Today's tech arm of the organization has actually transcended a room space or a floor space to now engulfing floors of a building or buildings within a physical space or across spaces in different climes of the world. So, back in the days, we used to have what is called server room. Then, as technology in the server room expanded and scaled up, so much so that the room was no longer enough to contain, then it's expanded into what we call the floor of a building. And then, furthermore, to a building itself. Then we now start having words like a data center, network operations center. In the same vein, cybersecurity operations have become so massive that they no longer coexist in a physical space, like with the network operations personnel, network with network operations, and with data center operations, and so on and so forth. No, for some medium to large size of institutions, we now have security operations being performed in a separate locale, maybe a separate building or floor of a building, while network operation is taking place elsewhere or on a different floor, and data center, oh, completely existing in an isolated region in a building of its own, and is kept hidden. I hope you are getting me. That is, for some data center, they are quite classified and hidden. For some, they are known, but quite a whole lot of data centers are not cannot be reached from Google Earth or from Google Map. They are quite because of the criticality of systems operating within that space. So for us, SecOps analysts, SecOps specialists, we have a space where we perform our duties. That space is what we call the Security Operations Center. Now, this center might be centralized, might be decentralized, depending on the size of the institution, and can also be virtual. that is existing in the cloud. So while you enroll for this program, you're going to master the different formation and structural models of Security Operations Center and the personnel. That takes me to the next step. The personnel, the role that the roles and responsibilities within a Security Operations Center. A Security Operations Center wouldn't just employ anybody. You might claim you have a master in cybersecurity, good. A security operations center wouldn't just employ anyone because they have a certificate or skill in cybersecurity. There are peculiar cybersecurity skills that qualifies you. These skills qualify you for a job role in a security operations center. The first, going bottom up, is the SOC tier one analyst. Please note that when you come for the training, you're going to learn all about the roles and responsibilities of these positions in a SOC. But at the base, which we call the entry level into a SOC, is the SOC tier one or level one. So we call it SOC T1 or L1. Then we got the SOC T2 or L2, SOC T3, L3. Please note that the skill sets for each level of these job roles in a SOC are not the same. What the SOC T3 guy can do, the two can't do, except he has acquired the skill. So what the two can do, the one cannot do. But they all work in unison. There is a harmony amongst them. Then beyond these three, we have the SOC team lead, and then we now have above them the CISO, the Chief Information Security Officer. So it's a hierarchical structure of roles and responsibilities. But it should be clearly stated that this training in particular preps you for SOC T1, which is the entry level, believing that you are new to SOC. And that's why this training is emphasizing SOC T1 with a touch of SOC T2. The SOC T1 is a triager. The SOC T2 is an investigator. That's where forensics start coming up. Then the SOC T3 is a hunter, a vuln assessor, and a threat hunter. So the skill sets are not the same. But primarily, for the opt-in time, this training preps you for SOC T1 job role with a touch of the skill sets, some of the skill sets in SOC T2. You, like I said earlier, a member of the blue team, and then there are modules here, lots that you're going to master. We start with the beginning of fundamentals of cybersecurity. Please, I need you to know that even if you're taking our GRC, cybersecurity GRC program, or you're taking the SOC training, or you're taking pen testing, you all go through the fundamentals of cybersecurity. We wouldn't want to assume you know. There will be, most especially GRC and SOC would give you in-depth of cybersecurity horizontally. Then before you scale to the next module, which is network security, and then SOC, and so on and so forth. So there are tools and labs that are going to be used, projects or exercises that will be performed in a virtual lab, and then the job roles you are suitable for. But please note that there are some SOC vacancies that will not state T1 or L1, but you will be told. We will help you understand that, oh, when you see this particular vacancy, that is a T1 job role, though it is not called T1. Some institutions do not use the conventional titles T1, T2, T3. They have unique identities within their own institution. So who should take or attend a SOC training? Okay, you see, Funsho, I like it technical, and I'm new to tech. I like it technical, but I'm new to tech. Come on board SOC. Or I'm into tech, but not into cybersecurity. Please start off with SOC. If you say, oh, I want to offend, I love it offensive, I want to hack, I want to test, it is good. is I actually support you follow your desire, but then there are stepping stones. If you've never been involved in security, please do not jump into pen testing. Pen testing is offensive. Start off with SOC. SOC will prep you adequately for pen testing. I can assure you that. But if you say, no, I've had cybersecurity training, oh, beautiful, then you can go straight to pen testing. David's going to talk more about that. You can go straight to pen testing. I'm a career coach. David is a career coach. So we can guide you adequately and appropriately, a step at a time, to actualize your career dream in the world of cyber security. So I love it technical for the opting time. I love it technical, but I not at that level. You know what I mean? Not at that level of technicality. Oh, come into SOC. You will be properly trained. You would not only understand cybersecurity, but you will understand the operations, so that when you either go for an interview or you land yourself a job, it will not be new to you. The institution wouldn't need to take you through the rudiments of security operations. That this is what we do, this is how we do it here. No, you wouldn't need to go through such training, because you would have been trained, you would have been taught, you would have simulated these activities in a SOC. So when you appear on the scene, it won't be new to you. So that's from here, and I'll hand you over to David to take the next and last lap in the training presentation. David, thank you.
All right, good everyone. I believe you can hear me very well. Yeah, so let me formally introduce myself. My name is David Akonde, and I'm a certified ethical hacker and penetration tester with 4+ years of experience in cybersecurity. And I'll be the facilitator for the ethical hacking and penetration testing program. All right, so let's go straight to the program overview. So before I start, right, when people hear about ethical hacking and penetration testing, they usually imagine, right, in their head that someone with an hoodie or someone with a face mask typing furiously on the keyboard, right? But in reality, we are just paid attackers, right? We hack into systems before cyber attackers do, and we give reports to the CEOs or the board of directors, depending on the organization you are trying to hack into. So let's go into the program overview, which is what is ethical hacking. So ethical hacking just simply means authorized cyber attack against a system, right? You are hacking into a system and you are performing a comprehensive, or you are evaluating the security of that particular system. So as an attacker, you are carrying out a pen test, you are trying to hack into the system, and you're also going to be writing a report and giving to the board of directors or to the CEO. So what differentiates an ethical hacker or a pen tester from a cyber criminal? Just a piece of paper. A piece of paper differentiates us between it differentiates an ethical hacker from a cyber criminal. And that piece of paper is called rule of engagement. I don't know if you have heard of it before. Rule of engagement. So that rule of engagement contains what you're supposed to do, right, during your attack. You know, as a criminal or a cyber criminal, they do whatever they want. They do things based on their intention. But as an ethical hacker or a penetration tester, what we do is that we follow guidelines. So when we get the job, we want to carry out a pen test on a particular organization, we are given a rule, right? That paper is called rule of engagement. So the rule of engagement is going to contain what you are supposed to do at that particular time, what you are supposed to touch. Do you get it? So it's very, very important. That's what differentiates us between an ethical hacker or a penetration tester, and also to a cyber criminal. So let's go to the types of ethical hacking. Now, the types of ethical hacking, I group it into different, let's say, different sectors, right? The first part is based on your knowledge or methodology. For the types, based on knowledge and methodology. The other part is based on your target, right? So the methodology part or the knowledge part, we have black box ethical hacking or penetration test, we have white box, and we have green box. For the black box, you have a blind, let's say zero knowledge about your target. If you are if it's the black box, you have zero knowledge about your target. You're not giving any information. You're just giving the job that okay, try to hack into our system, be it a network, be it a website, be it cloud. So we have different types of. I'll still get to that. So whatever you are trying to do, you have zero knowledge about your target. That's the black box pen test. Then to the white box, you have full knowledge about your target. You are given IP addresses, you are given network maps, you are given credentials, every detail about your target. So what they want you to do is that they want you to go into that particular target and look for loopholes that they have zero knowledge about. That's for the white box. Then for the third one, which is the gray box, you have let's say partial knowledge because it's in between right now. So you have partial knowledge about your target. They'll be giving you just little information. So with that little information that you have, right, you do the same thing. You try to use that little information you have to hack into your target. Then to the second part of I've grouped it into two different parts: the knowledge and the what and the target. So the target part, we have different targets. So during your ethical hacking and penetration testing journey, you you hack into different targets. Example like your network, right? We have network pen testing, we have website pen testing, we have cloud, right? We have cloud pen tests, people that hack into your clouds like your AWS, your Azure. We have physical pen tests too. People that try to break locks. In organizations, they have logs, security logs. So as physical pen testers, we try to hack into those physical devices. And we also have the social engineering part, or let's say the personal pen test, where you hack into individuals. So this is part where social engineering falls into. I think you've heard of social engineering attacks before, where attackers try to hack or try to gain information from a person or an employee of a particular organization. All right, so let's go to the next part, which is the ethical hacking mindset. So as an ethical hacker or penetration tester, apart from you having presentation skills, right, trying to talk to your to the board of directors or the CEO of the company you are pen testing into, you also have to have other soft skills, right? Apart from the technical skills that we are going to be doing during the use and tech training. The first one is you have to be very curious. As an ethical hacker, you have to have some level of curiosity, right? You can look at it that what if I press this particular button, what will happen? If I put comma here or if I put apostrophe here, what is going to happen to this particular system? That's the curiosity I'm talking about. Another soft skill you have to have is that we call it paranoia, right? Paranoia. It simply means that you have to assume that everything on your target is vulnerable. Because during pen test, you don't have to assume that everything is perfect. You don't have to assume that everything is perfect. Because I was carrying out a particular pen test, then I think I went to the what is it called, to the source code of that particular website, and I could see credentials, username and password on the source code. Do you get it? So as an ethical hacker, you have to ensure that you don't trust the organization giving you the job to do, right? You have to always assume that they are always vulnerable. Do you get that? And another soft skill you also have to also learn to do is patience. As an ethical hacker, you have to be very, very, very patient, right? You are going to be having a lot of frustrations. Your script might not run, your code might not even run at all, right? But with the level of patience, right, you definitely carry out the job, right? Another thing about the patient is that most of the time in during penetration test, 90% of the job is going to be, let's say, reconnaissance. I'll still get there during the stages of your penetration test or ethical hacking. But 90% of your job is going to be reconnaissance. You're going to be gathering information about your target. Your hack itself is just maybe 2% of the job, right? Because in ethical hacking, what we do mostly is we gather information about our target. If I'm targeting someone, let's say someone wants to hack into my organization, the person will go online, gather information about David Akondea, right? So you have to gather as much information as possible about me. then use that particular information to try and hack into my organization. So you can see that you gathering the information, it requires 90, or let's say full patience. Do you get that? So that is the ethical hacking mindset. So let's go to the methodology. What are the methods we use in ethical hacking or penetration test? So the first stage of ethical hacking is what we call reconnaissance. I've said that already. Reconnaissance is also called information gathering, where attackers go online, they gather information about the target. And we have a lot of resources where we can gather information. Even on Google, you can gather information about any organization you want. On LinkedIn, yes, you gather information also on LinkedIn. And we have so many tools on our Linux. Linux is our platform we are going to be using to hack, to carry out our ethical hacking and penetration testing classes. So we have so many inbuilt tools on Kali Linux that we use to carry out this reconnaissance stage, right? So the first stage is reconnaissance, information gathering. We are going to be gathering information about your target, and this is one of the most critical parts of ethical hacking and penetration testing. Like I said earlier, it's like 90% of the job you're going to be doing. You gather the information. So once you're able to get the critical information, you can now use that credential or information you get online to gain access into your target. So the second part is scanning and enumeration. So from the information you get online, right, which is reconnaissance stage, right, you are now going to use that information to scan, right? You're going to be having direct interaction with your target. That's what falls into the scanning and enumeration stage. Enumeration is using those information you get online to try and check whether it is valid or not. If I say particular information, let's say that you go online now, I search for David Akonde, right? And you see some little information about me. You have to pick that information and see whether it is valid, right? Let's say you say username and password now. Maybe I kept the username and password online. Then you go to my organization, you try to hack into my website. You try to see whether that username and password online, whether it's possible, whether it is valid, right? When I mean valid, I mean whether it is correct, right? You have to check whether that particular username and password is correct and use it to try and hack into my website. Do you get? And it also contains, let's say, let me use a network as an example now. Let's say you're trying to hack into a network infrastructure. During the scanning stage, we have what we call ports, right? Those ports are what you're going to use to gain access into the network. So this is what the scanning and enumeration phase entails. And we have so many tools we use in the scanning and enumeration. We use Nmap, we use Nessus. Nessus is a vulnerability scanning tool that we use to scan and see whether we have some loopholes that we can use to gain access into that particular organization. So the third stage of vertical hacking is gaining access. So after we've gathered the information, that's from the reconnaissance stage, and we've tried to see whether it is valid, and we've seen different loopholes in that particular organization or your target. We now what? Gain access. We use that credential to gain access into our target, right? Be it network, be it website. So this is always the fun part of pen test because everybody wants to hack now. You want to gain access into your target. So this is the fun part of pen testing or ethical hacking. So the fourth stage is maintaining access. When you gain access into a particular target, you want to maintain your access. When I say maintain access means that what if you, let's say you have an issue and you break out of that particular target, you want to be persistent. You want it that, okay, let's say the network goes off, you still want to be able to come back to your target. That's what we call maintaining access. You want to be able to come back to your target automatically. So what we do in the maintaining access is that sometimes we create a backdoor. We create a backdoor that the organization or the IT team don't know about, right? We create a backdoor in such a way that next time when we want to come into our target, right, we can go into the target anytime we want. That's what the maintaining access does. Then the last stage of pension test is covering tracks and reporting. After your hack, you have to definitely cover your tracks so that when the defensive team are trying to look for, let's say, trying to read their logs and they are saying that, oh, there's an intruder inside our network, we have to ensure that we cover those tracks. Because during the stage of pen test, we're going to be running a lot of scripts, sending malwares, sending different scripts to your target. So we have to ensure that those scripts are removed from our target so that the defenders, or let's say the blue team, will not be able to detect that someone has hacked into their system. And the last phase is the reporting space. I've said this before. As a pen tester, you have to ensure that you can give presentation to the CEO or the board of directors or to the IT team. You have to be able to explain to them that this is what I saw, like as the attacker, this is what I saw inside your system, right? This is how we can remediate it. Because what we're trying to do is that we're trying to hack into these systems and ensure that the real attackers don't do that before we do. Okay. So the next stage is the tools and labs. Yeah. So during our training, we are going to be using quite a number of tools, but all the tools that we need is going to be inside our Kali Linux. Kali Linux is the operating system we are going to be using, major operating system we are going to be using for ethical hacking and penetration test. Although, as a pen tester, you have to understand how to use, let's say, all types of operating system. I think the major types of operating system are your Kali Linux, let's say your Linux, your Windows operating system, and your iOS or Mac OS, right? But majorly, we do use Linux operating system. For those that want to go into network pen test, you have to also know how to use your Windows command line, because a lot of organizations uses Windows. So if I want to hack into an organization's network, I have to also know how to use Windows operating system. A lot of people use Windows for watching movies, right? A lot of people use your Windows operating system to watch movies, but your Windows is more than that, right? You should be able to know use your Windows command line. In fact, I'll tell you that some pen tester or ethical hackers, they use Windows to hack, right? But the best to always use is the Linux. The reason why we don't use Windows for hacking is because Windows don't come with pre-installed tools. We have so many tools. Like when it comes to, let's say, password hacking, we have tools like John the Ripper, we have tools like Hashcat. Those tools don't come with your Windows, but they do come with Linux. They do come with Linux. Even Linux itself is of different types. We have different the distribution of Linux. We have Kali, we have Parrot, we have SUSE, we have a lot of them like that, right? Different, just like the way we have different types of iPhones, right? We have different types of Linux too. But the specific Linux that we use as attackers is Kali Linux. For those that are developers, I think developers do prefer to use Ubuntu, because Ubuntu looks more like Windows operating system. You can also watch movies on Ubuntu by default. But your Linux is always strictly pen test 2. So your Kali Linux is strictly for penetration test. Do you get that? So our Kali Linux will be the major operating system for our penetration testing and ethical hacking classes. Then we also learn how to use your Windows command line. So that once you are using your Windows, you can also go to your command line, your CMD or your PowerShell. You should be able to use your command line to interact with the computer system. So those are the major tools we're going to be using. Your operating system, which is your Kali Linux, and also learning how to use your Windows command line. Then we're also going to be using different labs. We have different labs where we can practice. Normally, as an ethical hacker or penetration tester, we can't attack a particular guy. I cannot just say that, okay, I want to hack into Microsoft, I'll be arrested. That's how we call it. We call it ethical. So we are ethical hackers, we are not criminals. So we have to ensure that we practice on the safe lab. So during our training, we are going to be building labs, right? So that we build labs, or we also use platforms. We have platforms that already have labs built into them. Example of the platform we're going to be using is Try Hack Me. For those of you that have tried to become an ethical hacker before, I think you have heard of Try Hack Me before. So Try Hack Me is a user, let's say, a beginner friendly platform, right, that helps you to learn ethical hacking. So Track Me will be the lab we're going to be using. And I also love Vronob. Vronob is also a very good platform where you can learn ethical hacking. The reason why I prefer Vronob is that for Vronob, we don't have to be online. What you just do is you download the machine you want to target. We're not targeting real systems now. We are targeting vulnerable machines. So we are going to download vulnerable machines from the site. Then we put it on our system. So we are offline. So even if you are not online, you can on your system start hacking into those machines, right? But for try hack me, you have to connect to the VPN. So if you are in a particular location where your VPN is not good, I always prefer that you start with your run up website, and you start learning ethical hacking from the run up. Then from run up, you can now move on to try hacking. We have other platforms that we can learn. Hack the box. In fact, there's a new one now called Hack Smart Labs. You guys can check it out. Run up, try hack me, hack the box, hack smart lab. But for this our training program, we're going to be strictly um, using your run up and track me because they are user friendly. For those of you that want to go into ethical hacking and you prefer that you want to be an attacker or an hacker. So another thing I want to say is that if you want to choose ethical hacking, please ensure that you like, I would like say, let me say that you like stress. I'm not saying that that's the real truth, right? Ensure that you like stress. But a lot of people will come to me and say that they want to become an ethical hacker. So I want to learn ethical hacking. I will ask that, can you do it? Because the journey requires a lot of let's say a lot of, I've said it already, a lot of patience, right? So you might be having sleepless nights. A lot of you will have sleepless nights because you're not getting something right. So you have to have the spirit of endurance, and you should be able to sit down in front of your system for hours, right? Sometimes pen test can take 1 week, 2 weeks. You will sleep. Oh, I'm not saying you're not going to sleep. You will sleep. You have to rest. But you should be someone that can be able to sit down in front of system for close to 5, 6 hours and above without feeling too tired. So this is a skill that you have to always ensure that you have. You can endure stress, and you can sit in front of system for good hours, good amount of hours. Good. So now let's go to the job roles. For penetration testing job roles, we have, for those that are just starting, or let's say for those that just learned ethical hacking at the beginning, yeah, you can start with junior penetration tester. Those are the job roles that you can go for. Junior penetration tester, vulnerability assessor. Good. Let me pinpoint something. There's a difference between vulnerability assessment and penetration testing. They are interwoven. They are the same. Like I'm not. They're not the same. But you can look at penetration testing or ethical hacking like a rectangle. I can look at vulnerability assessment like a square. You know that you can pick a square from a rectangle, right? Good. So vulnerability assessment is just your reconnaissance stage, your scanning stage, and yes, that's the only part of your vulnerability assessment. You're only running scans to see vulnerabilities, but you're not exploiting them. But as a penetration tester, you are running your scans, you are trying to gain access, you are trying to gain access into the organization. That's the difference between penetration test and vulnerability assessment. So if even as a penetration tester, you have to also learn vulnerability assessment. You learn vulnerability assessment before actually exploiting those vulnerabilities. During our training, I will still explain these terms to you because not everybody will understand the difference between exploitation, vulnerabilities. Vulnerability just simply means weaknesses, right? For us to get able to gain access into a particular target, it has to be vulnerable. It has to have a particular weakness. That weakness is what we are going to use to gain access into the organization. No hacker, or let's say no hacker or attacker, be it criminal or a pension tester. Nobody's a magician. We're not magicians, right? We use what we see online to exploit you. I don't know if any of you have been a victim of let's say your bank hack. Someone has hacked into your bank before. The person don't perform any miracle. He or she didn't, right? The person did this from what he or she saw online or what you gave to the person. The person might have sent you a link, you might have clicked on that particular link, and you would have given your username and password to the person unknowingly. That's what we call social engineering attack, phishing, farming, a lot of them. We'll talk about it in our training. So no penetration tester is a magician, right? We use what we know. to exploit. So going back to vulnerability assessment and ethical hacking. Vulnerability assessment is just gathering those information, running your scans, and knowing where the vulnerabilities or the weakness of that system is. And the IT department, they rectify those vulnerabilities. We have different levels of vulnerabilities. We have high, medium, low vulnerabilities. So those high vulnerabilities or critical vulnerabilities, those are the vulnerabilities that allows, let's say, those are the most critical vulnerabilities that attackers use majorly to exploit systems. Do you get that? So for vulnerability assessment, the IT department or the paid pen tester or ethical hacker run those scans and they submit. They don't exploit, right? They don't hack into. They just look at those loopholes, those vulnerabilities, and they give it to the IT team, and the IT team will rectify it. But for pen testers and ethical hackers, after seeing those vulnerabilities, we will still use that vulnerability to exploit. So we have to show them proof that if a real attacker or a criminal sees this vulnerability, he or she can use it to perform this attack that we just did right now. So that's the difference between vulnerability and penetration test. And let me also tell you that there's a difference between ethical hacking and penetration test. There's not much difference, right? A lot of people use it interchangeably, but your pen testing is more specific. Ethical hacking is broad, right? Let me come again. Penetration testing is specific. Ethical hacking is broad. In what sense? Pen testing might be, maybe I want to carry out a network pen test. I want to carry out a website pen test. I want to carry out a cloud pen test. But ethical hacking is everything combined together. So as an ethical hacker, you can carry out cloud, network pen test, website pen test, phishing attacks, social engineering attacks, everything all together, right? But it's fine. You can definitely use both words interchangeably. Be it ethical hacking or penetration test, is fine. But I'm just saying, I'm just giving you that tip now that ethical hacking is broad, right? Everything all together, you're a red teamer, right? You can do everything. But pen testing is always focused on a particular target. All right. So why choose pen testing? Definitely, you said it already. Pen testing is majorly done to we simulate attacks on a particular target and also to evaluate the security posture of a particular organization. So if your organization that are currently working right now, for those of us that are working, if your organization has a network, you have a website, as a penetration tester, you want to evaluate the security posture of your organization's network, website, or their cloud. So you want to simulate attacks that attackers are supposed to do. You simulate it on your network or the website, and you see where there are vulnerabilities on those platforms, so that your organizations will not suffer from a data breach. I believe you know what data breach is. Data breach is just simply when attackers hack into the organization and they collect data. Data usually contain username and passwords, your email addresses, and they put it on the dark web. So before the criminals do this, we are what? We are trying to do the same, but in a legal and authorized manner. Then giving it to the IT department and making presentation to your CEO, to the CEO or the board of directors that this is what I saw. Our informations are on the dark web. Let us try to rectify. We have our email addresses on the dark web. Let's try and change our email format. So that is why you have to choose penetration testing. So if you are someone that you love to attack, you want to act, you want to do like the way they do in movies, right? Although it's not like that in reality because you sweat. It's not like that in reality, but it's a very, very interesting um, field in cybersecurity. So if you're someone that loves the attacking mindset, I would employ you that you should come to take this particular program with me, and I assure you that you'll be very when you're done with the program, you'll be very, very good in ethical hacking and penetration testing field. And who are those of you that can put in for penetration testing? If you're an analyst, cybersecurity analyst, definitely you can put in for ethical hacking and penetration testing. If you're a cybersecurity auditor, perfect, right? Because you have to audit your systems, your network, your website. You can come in for the penetration testing program. If you're a software developer too, those of you that are into coding, and I want to know this, you guys might be asking that is it necessary for you to learn programming before you become an ethical hacker? The answer is no. Because when I started my ethical hacking journey, I was never a programmer, right? But as time goes on, I began to learn how to write other programming languages. As at now, I'm very good at HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Python, right? So I write those four programming language easily. Do you get? So don't be scared that because I don't know how to program, I can't know, right? No, whether you know how to program or not, please come and learn pension testing if you have the passion for it. So don't be scared. You can become a pension tester without knowing ethical hacking. But in the future, you have to ensure that you also learn it because you're going to be using a lot of scripts. You're going to run these scripts to hack, and you have to also know that that script you're running, you have to be able to read the script to an extent, right? Even though the advanced technology AI has actually come in to help us, but we don't rely solely on AI because sometimes AI misleads. So you have to ensure that you have that foundational knowledge in pen test, in Python and other programming languages. But I assure you that you don't have to be a programmer for you to start. Then going forward, you can definitely learn it, right? It gives you an advantage in the cybersecurity field. So you're also an operation specialist. You are an system administrator. Yes, system administrators, they use more of command lines. They use Windows command lines a lot. They use Linux command line a lot. If you know you're into that particular field, you can also come in to learn ethical hacking and pension test. If you're also a cybersecurity enthusiast, you have a little foundational knowledge, or maybe you've taken some courses online before, like networking, taking courses on networking. This is the place for you, right? If you know a bit about networking and you have a general knowledge about cybersecurity, definitely come and do penetration tests, right? So that's that. Thank you very much. Where is Mrs. Yano?
Thank you so much, Mr. David. Thank you, Mr. Funshaw, for this wonderful webinar. We truly enjoyed it and it was really impactful. So we have a question here, and Wendy is asking that how can I pair my CYSA and project management certification for a cybersecurity position? For a cybersecurity position. So that's Wendy's question. Please, if you have questions, kindly put it in the comment section. If you have feedback, kindly put it in the comment section so that we can read it out and so that we can end the live stream as soon as we are done. All right, please, who is taking the question? Is it Mr. David or Mr. Funshaw?
Let me respond quickly.
All right, sir.
Hello, can you hear me?
You can hear it, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
thank
sir.
you. Saisa, hello. Okay, good. It's better.
You can hear you.
CISA Plus, CYSA is called CISA, is an intermediate cybersecurity blue teamer or blue team defensive. Don't mind me where I'm packing all of them. Number one is an intermediate cybersecurity certification from CompTIA. It's vendor neutral. It excuse me. It is tailored to security operations. Yes, it is unlike CompTIA Security Plus, which is everything as an entry level, gives you a bird's eye view. CISA Plus is the intermediate level. So, according to the hierarchy of Microsoft, the hierarchy of, I'm saying this just to further enlighten anyone here who may be asking CISA and what is it about. If you go by the career map of CompTIA, I'm a CompTIA member too, so a cybersecurity certified by CompTIA. If you go by the career map of CompTIA, Security Plus is a necessary uh, uh, foundational step or foundation to CISA Plus. So CISA Plus narrows it down to operations. Why Security plus generalizes your knowledge of cybersecurity. So, but then, how do we map? How would you map CISA plus with your project management certification? I would love to ask this question. Are you like me, who has a CompTIA certification in project management? Okay, because I need to know what project management certification you are taking. Is it the PMP? Is it Prince 2? Is it the Australia project management certification? These are popular ones. Or is it the CompTIA Project Plus certification? So if you're taking CompTIA Project Plus certification, 100% alignable. The reason is because the CompTIA Project Plus certification or project management certification is tech, strictly tech related projects or tech projects. So everything you'll be learning in it is tech. And this also, cybersecurity is tech. So both align. And also, you can function as a cybersecurity analyst in a software project. I've been involved in such engagements in the past. So it means as a CISA Plus certified, with your knowledge of tech projects, you can function, you know where to fall in, you know where to apply. But when it comes to, if you are taking PMP, which is a generic project management certification, unlike Prince 2, unlike Project Plus from CompTIA, it is generic. I also have PMP, so I know both. It would be difficult for me to say you can align CISA Plus with projects because projects are temporary endeavors. So, because it's PMP, it's not restricted to any kind of project, it's generic. So, but then I cannot assure you that you'll be able to do both jobs at the same time. Is if you have CISA Plus, you want to secure a job, it is SOC job you're looking for. But while you are now working as a cyber security expert in SOC, your project management skill can play itself out. Please get me. Your project management skill can play itself out because there is always projects in tech. In the world of tech, we always have projects. So if your institution is aware that you have project management competence and you are working as a security operations analyst, it will be easy to be a double yes said for you, advantage for you, and to be easy for them to integrate you into their projects. Not necessarily cybersecurity projects. It will be easy for them to integrate you into their tech project from a cybersecurity standpoint. I don't know if that is clear. So I would say go continue with both if you are interested. But then I will gladly encourage that please take up a cybersecurity job, and then on the job you can now integrate as a team or a team lead or a team member in tech projects. That's what I have to say. I don't know if David has something to say about it.
All right, sir. Thank you very much, Mr. Funshaw. Mr. David, do you have anything you want to say?
No, at all.
No, at all.
You keep your
All
body.
right. Please, if you are still with us, is that?
You don't have any questions
Do you
for
have any
me?
questions for me? I can't see any question for now. I can't see any question for now. Please, if you are still with us, kindly drop a reaction. I can still see that some people on the call. Kindly drop a reaction. Some were going in and going out, but I know quite a number of people joined. If you are still with us, if you can still hear us, please drop your reaction, drop your questions so that we can take them before we leave. Although there's still going to be another session next week, Saturday, this same time, 12 p.m. Another session is going to hold. So if you don't have your questions right now, you can please join again next week so that you can, maybe you've gone through the video and then you can now ask. We are going to be happy to see you next time. Thank you for joining, or more. Thank you for joining, Wendy. Okay, so Wendy responded. She said, "Thank you. and that she thinks that SOC is the way to go. I appreciate that. All right, Mr. Funshaw, Wendy already responded to the question you answered.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. All right, so I believe we can call it a day. Thank you so much, Mr. Funshaw. Thank you so much, Mr. David. And sincere apologies once again for the technical issues at the beginning. It's not going to repeat itself next week. And we cannot wait to have you by next week. Thank you. See you some other time. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Wendy. Bye, everybody.